And we are alive. All right. Good afternoon. Good afternoon, everyone. I know I just went live and I'm not even going to wait for anyone to join us. However, as you join the broadcast, please just drop your name in the chat. Let me know where you're streaming from. Let me know who you are so I can give you a special shout out and say hello to you. I'm excited to be back today on another episode of the Authors Spotlight. We have been doing this for a while, and what I love to do is to feature authors who have published with Victorious U Press and just get to understand where they are now with their book and what has life been like since they published their books, and ask if there's any other books that's coming forward. So, hey there, Patty. Nice to see you. Thank you for jumping on and joining us. So, we're going to ask for you to share the broadcast out because you don't know, somebody might be inspired by what my authors have to say today. I'm here with Kelly now, and then in half an hour, we'll have Pastor Peter. And they have really incredible stories of just overcoming things. And I'm so excited that you are here to share in this conversation. If you're seeing me for the first time, my name is Joan T. Randall. I am an author, speaker, publisher, but more than anything else, I'm a servant of God and love talking about Jesus and all things God. I mix Jesus with business because I have a marketplace ministry. Um, so that's why I love talking about God and business all in the same breath. And of course, books, books. It's all about books, the business, and beyond. So I have this beautiful lady on my screen. Look at her. She's flawless. Oh my God. And I love her so much. And I'm so excited to have her with me today. And without further ado, I'm going to give Kelly an opportunity to tell you a little bit about herself, and then we'll get into the conversation with her. Kelly, welcome.
Hello, Joan. Thank you so much for having me. Excited to be here. My name is Kelly STAIB, and I am a Amazon best-selling publisher as of a year ago. And in the last year, a lot of things have happened, good, bad, and indifferent. But guess what? God's blessing was on every moment, and He was there with me in the middle. And I'm just super glad to be here to continue to keep sharing my testimony.
I love it. And I see your book cover in the background. I love it. Hey, Carol, nice to see you. Nice to see you. And Kelly's book is called Broken is a Choice. It is available on Amazon. And Kelly, if you have your website, let me know if your book is available so that you can autograph it for anybody who wants to purchase it today. I'll drop it in the link. Hey, Elder Oxidine, it is so nice to see you. Thank you for joining. So I want to ask you, Kelly, how did you connect with me?
So I connected with you. So I was praying for the right publisher to be sent to me. So I started doing my work and started doing some searching. And then one of the women in one of my e-groups, Crystal, she had been working with you and she raved about you and her experience. So I was like, well, then there's my sign from God that I need to give Joan a call.
Yes. And I was so happy when I got that call and we had our consultation. You told me a little bit about the story. I know that it was a really heavy story, but I was excited that you had the courage and you were ready to share it, right? You did a write-in challenge with us because we had the consultation, and then later on I offered this, I don't remember if it was a 3-day write-in challenge or something like that, and I think you joined the challenge. How was that challenge for you? Did it help give you any type of clarity on the writing? Share that with us.
So the writing challenge was the final straw there for me to be like, all right, let's do this. Because, I went in, I had no idea what I was going into. I knew I wanted to write my story, but I didn't know exactly how to get it out there. So the workshop that you had literally spelled it out and bullet points and process and starting your goals from the end and working your way back. Yeah. And it just made it very easy for me to be like, okay, this is where I need to go. This is where God's aligned me. And you just made it very easy to sign up and to follow. And your team held my hand the whole way.
Yay, yay. I loved it. And I think Patty is on, and we didn't want you. It's so funny. This was funny, right? So here's the funny part. So Patty, you and Patty go to the same church, right?
Mhm.
And so this whole time, I knew that Patty was your editor, but you didn't know. And Patty would see you at church, but couldn't say anything, right?
Mhm.
Because for the most part, I try to keep my editors anonymous behind the scene for no reason in particular, just because I want my authors to feel really comfortable, right? And
Mhm.
so Patty couldn't wait to finally say, I edited your book. So, what was the experience like working with Victorious You Press?
So every time I had a question, it was answered pretty quickly. The feedback was good. I didn't have any challenges working. It was almost like it was supposed to happen the way it was supposed to happen. You guys gave me deadlines. I did my part of carving out that time to prioritize my writing, and um, I have raved about the publishing company and made recommendations, and I just highly encourage anybody to work with you guys.
Oh my God, that is so great. It's good to hear that. Since you wrote your book, I want you to kind of share with us what the experience has been
Mhm.
like, the good, the bad, what friends and family has had to say, because the book is your personal memoir, but it was also a very difficult book for you to write because you had to go back into some dark places, right? To write this book. And I say this all the time that your story is your power. um, and I love that people can go through difficult circumstances and can live to talk about it and use it as a way to help others, right? From pain to purpose. And you could see the change in you, like you look completely different, right? Then and now. So tell us, what has been the reaction to the book?
Mhm. So um, I've had lots of great reactions. I've had a lot of encouragement, a lot of people reaching out to me, text, social media, email, saying that my story encouraged them to um, look into themselves and see where they need to grow. I had some people read the book and said they put it down because it triggered them and they weren't ready to look at that part yet. And that's okay. The whole purpose of me writing the book was to share my experience, my story, and plant seeds of hope. That's all it is just planting seeds. If I can do this through God, anybody can. So the healing stories, I had a great testimony. One of my friends and her husband were in a separation, and he ended up reaching out, and I just suggested read my book. Don't remain broken. There is healing if you do some work. And he did, and they got back together, and they're just mighty power couple and just serving God through their testimony. And it's just so wonderful, because if he didn't reach out and say, I don't want to feel this way, and he was just open. And that's the people that I want to reach, the open people when their pain is extreme. So you just never know when somebody is open to receiving something. So I encourage you, if you are struggling, read it. See if something jumps out at you that makes you want to make the change, because we are the only people that can decide when we want to make the change.
Yeah, absolutely. I so agree with that. And even for me, like there were certain parts of your book where I saw myself, not in all of it, but in the brokenness, right? And there's so many people that can relate to brokenness. And that's why it is important to write our stories, because a lot of times we're thinking, oh, we're the only one that experiences, but there's so many people out there that have either gone through it or are going through it or will go through it. So it's important for us to share a story so people can see the transition from what was once broken to who you are now. And I know this is not a question that I had prepped you for, but I know you can answer it. Tell us about the title, why it was important for you to call it Broken is a Choice.
So for me, when I got to the end of myself, and my addiction, I didn't want to be me anymore. I was just completely shattered, broken on my knees, just like with my hands in the air. God, just help me, save me. There's something wrong with the makeup of my mind, my brain, my choices, and I want to fix that. And we all find ourselves stuck in a place, whether it's your mind, whether it's a bad habit that you've got formed, whether it's an unhealthy relationship, we find ourselves stuck. We are the ones remaining stuck. So remaining in that broken feeling, that broken situation. And the only way to change is to change your choice. So remaining broken is a choice every day. And I wake up and I choose to work my recovery program. I choose to not pick up a drink. I choose to not continue that dysfunctional pattern that is embedded in my being. And when those things do crop up, because we're human and old patterns really die hard. And when they crop up, you acknowledge it, that self-awareness, and be like, God, take this away. I am done with being this person. But it's not just a light switch, because the feelings and the thoughts do crop up. And when they do, you have to use the tools. You have to use the tools and all the things that you've learned, healing yourself. And God is always there waiting for you to turn to him, for him to give you the answers if we just ask for help.
Yeah. That is so powerful. Oh my God. And I know you touched a little bit. Patty just said, editing Kelly's book brought a breakthrough in my own healing. I saw. Ooh, I think I lost everybody for a second. Um, I
It's good.
think it's, yeah, I think it's my internet. If you guys are still there and you can still see us, let us know. It just went away and came back. And I know it's mine. It's been giving me.
Not today, Satan.
Not today. Not today when we are talking about this. Not today. Remember that day when you were trying to have a conversation with me? The same thing was happening. It's just like, what in the world is going on? But no, not today. So if you guys are still with me, Pat or Elder Berthana or Carol or Patty, just drop it in the chat so we know that you're still here with us. But I think anybody that goes through trauma and read your book and see the transformation would be, I'm here. Okay, awesome. And see the transformation would be inspired to know that broken is really a choice. And I remember when you shared that topic, that the title with me, I thought about it over and over. And I'm like, you know what? That is factual. Broken is truly a choice because we choose to stay in it. In my domestic violence situation, I stayed for 7 years, but it was a choice I made, And then the moment when I no longer chose that, that's when I decided to get out. So
It's hard.
yeah,
And
yeah,
domestic violence, I mean, isn't it like 8 times before you actually, that's the average before you actually get out, that, um, it's so tough when you are trauma bonded that way. Writing my story, I thought it was just about my recovery. And then it opened up a whole can of worms. And I've been back in trauma therapy, and I've been, doing the steps in a different program, and just understanding the emotional, my emotional reactions and my emotional stability, because emotional instability is what I grew up and
yeah,
all I knew. And I'm here today because I made a choice that I wanted to learn what healthy patterns look like and what healthy living and relationships look like. And in my 40s, I finally get that.
yeah. Oh my God, that is
Never
so
too late.
and never too late. And you have an amazing husband that has been there with you the entire time and support you. And then my next question for you is, what is, before I even get in there, because I just touched on your husband and I want to hear a little bit of something from you about that. With your husband being so supportive, what was that like for you having to open up old wounds to share the story?
So when I told him I was, digging deep, he's like, this, I hate to see you like this. And I was like, you have to cry the tears and you have to feel the pain to get to the healing. And I said, it's going to be ugly. So saddle up, and thank you for your support. And he's just a rock, he supports whatever I want to do. He points me back to God. He points me to my safe space. He points me to my safe relationships and just reminds me that I'm not alone and I don't have to feel that pain alone.
Yeah, he's such an amazing guy, and I am so happy I got a chance to meet him personally because he is amazing. What is your advice to anybody who wants to write a book or is on the fence thinking, do I want to write this book? I have a story. I'm afraid to share the story. The story is difficult. I don't know if there's anybody out there that wants to hear my story. What would you say to them about connecting with us, VYP, so we can help them?
So I would say if God put it on your heart to write your story and you don't, you're being disobedient.
Mm,
And you need to do it afraid, and you need to um, put your big girl pants on, pull them up. And this story isn't about you, it's about freeing other people. God uses us and our triumphs and our overcoming obstacles and traumas and everything that came to destroy
mm.
us. He uses that to free others. And if you don't believe it, read my book and you'll be free.
Listen, I put her book down here. It's Broken is a Choice.
On Amazon.
Yeah, and on Amazon, and you can go and get it. And I'm telling you, you will, that thing will grab you from the beginning of the book to the end of the book. Like, first of all, reading her book and looking at her is like it's two different persons. It's like two different people, right? So it's just amazing the power of God and how God can. I love how God uses vessels that are sometimes broken to show his supernatural powers. And it reminds me, like your story, and I think I may have shared this with you, but your story reminds me of like a vase that was broken in so many different pieces. And then God uses his supernatural glue and places it between all of the cracked pieces of the vase and put the vase back together. And so when you look at this vase now, it has all of these golden glue that, runs through its brokenness, but that's the beauty of it
Mhm.
because God is able to take the broken pieces, put it back together, and now the vase in its original stage is not as beautiful as the vase with all the gold glue of God's divine love and supernatural powers in between the broken pieces. Every
Amen.
time I hear your story, I think about that vase. So I love it. The power of God, as Patricia says, that's the power of God. So we're getting ready to do a Power of the Pen retreat. And I love writing. I love all things book. And I believe that everyone has a story. And a lot of times people think that, oh, I don't have a story that is so compelling like Kelly's story, or I don't have a story that is so compelling like Patty or Joan's story. But sometimes it's not so much about the sad stories, it's the stories of beauty. It's the stories of things that are absolutely amazing. It's the story of you having a gift and a talent and a skill that you can write because somebody needs it to help them in some way or some shape or some form. Give us 3 tips why people should invest to come to the power of the pen retreat so they can write either their story, their message, their expertise, their experience, what are the 3 tips that you would leave?
Well, one is if you've never been and you don't have any experience writing, why wouldn't you go? Like you're setting yourself up for failure if you don't find resources to help you be all that you can be. It gives you experience and perspective from other writers. And it gives you the tools and the layout to get from start to finish exactly what you want to do. And it's all in that workshop.
Yes, I love it. You hear it here from Kelly. Plain and simple. Get there. So the Power of the Pen Retreat, you can access it on victoriousupress.com. I'm going to drop it right here. I forgot to drop it in the chat. I still have to spell out this whole thing every time I write it. I cannot write it without spelling it out. Victoria Sue. Can you imagine? I wonder why I gave myself such a difficult name. I mean, TREAT. If you go to victoriousupress.com/retreat, you can go ahead and purchase your tickets. We have 2 different tickets. We have the VIP tickets. That's the 3-day ticket for $199. And then we have the 2-day general session tickets for $99. So today a lady purchased the ticket and she goes, "Oh my God, this is it? This is what you're charging for your 3-day event?" And I'm like, "Yeah." And she says, "Oh my God, it's so inexpensive." I was shocked. Anyway, so yes, it is inexpensive, but that's okay. It's just a way of getting you there so that you can have all the tips and the tools that's necessary for you to make the choice of writing your book and then using that book to build, you know, sustainable income or passive income or help others on your journey. So Kelly, thank you so much.
Thank
Thank you for
you.
coming. Thank you for spending some time with me here. Thank you for your story. And don't be a stranger. When are you going to write the other book?
I actually started writing in January, but I'm going to put it on hold until we see what the outcome that God has in store for us, because we need an ending to the book. So we just have to see what happens. Super excited.
Why do I feel like, oh boy, I'm not going to feel like
And
it.
I have no idea when I'm going to find out how this ends. So you'll be the first to know when I'm like, okay, Joan, I've got my draft ready.
All right. I love it. I love it. Listen, Kelly, it was so awesome talking to you as always. How is the boat?
It's nice. We're
I
probably
know.
going to go out this weekend and enjoy the last nice days of the fall.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, thank you so much for joining me today,
Glad to
Kelly.
be here.
I'm so happy you were here, and I'll talk to you soon.
All right. Take
All
care.
right.
Thank
God bless
you.
you. God bless you. Nice to see you. All right, guys, you hear it here. This is my girl, Kelly. We were talking about her book. Let us see what Patty just says. Patty says, since I started as an editor with Victorious U Press in July 2020, I have invested in myself through Joan. I'm now a best-selling author and documentary star. That is true. Wrote an ebook and have a book coming out on my own story. That is amazing, Patty. Yes, yes, yes. That is so amazing. We're so grateful to Patty. And we're gonna say goodbye to Kelly as we get ready for one of our other authors. All right, guys. So Kelly is absolutely amazing. I love her. The best, yes, Pat, the best is yet to come for her. And I cannot wait to see what the other book is, right? So that she is going to write, and you'll definitely know once I find out too. So we are getting ready to bring on our next author, and he is in the green room, and I'm excited to bring him on and ask him some of these questions as well. So let's bring to the screen Pastor Peter. What up, Pastor Peter?
ADAMSON.
I know. What up? What up? What up? What up?
Hi, how are you?
I am great. How are you doing? Long
Wow,
time no
nice speaking
see.
with you there. I'm doing very great. How are you?
I am doing well. It's so nice to see you. So
Yes, me as well.
I am happy to have you here because I wanted to just chit chat with you for a moment to find out how things are going since you wrote your book
Excellent.
and to give us a little update about how you got connected with me and then what was the experience like. And we can chit chat back and forth. It's very informal.
Yes.
So, just bring yourself. And I know you're a powerful speaker, so we will have fun doing this.
Yes.
So let me give you my experience.
All right.
I call him Pastor Peter. His name is Peter Adamson. I call him Pastor Peter, so that's what I'm gonna call him. So I remember, and I'm gonna give you, you know what, before I tell my story, I'm gonna turn it over to you. Pastor Peter, you tell them about yourself. Tell the audience a little bit about you.
Yeah, well, good afternoon, everybody. My name is Peter Adamson. I'm a pastor in the Redeemed Christian Church of God, and I thank the Lord Almighty for his faithfulness using us in his vineyard. And I graduated from the University of Phoenix, Arizona. I studied business administration and healthcare administration. I'm a human rights activist also. So I thank God. God has been doing something that's beyond our imaginations. And that is what brought us here to this live program today. And I
Yeah.
give glory to the Lord Almighty.
I love it. So now I can tell you, now that you hear a little bit about Pastor Peter, let me tell you my experience with him. So he was in a book that was written by a friend of mine, Casey, right? We call him General,
Yes.
right? And Jen wrote a book. He went to my church and he wrote a book with our church group in 2018. And after he wrote the book with our church group, he wanted to write a book on his own. And he decided that he was going to get these men together and write this book. Pastor Peter was a part of that book as well.
Mhm.
And then you connected with me because you wanted to write your own book.
Yes.
The day we had our consultation, do you remember what happened?
Yes,
What
I
happened?
can never forget that experience
Tell me what happened.
when you interviewed me about the book that I should tell you a little bit. So when I started sharing Commander in Chief and telling you the story why God prompted me, you started crying. You
I
said there is no book no story has ever touched you like that. So that is my confirmation that God was leading me.
listen. I have been doing publishing for a long time, right, guys? And this was the first. Okay, so I've only cried twice in
Yes.
a consultation with a client. Pastor Peter was the first one, and recently, like another one. And he is coming out in an anthology that we're doing. So that's the two times I've ever cried in front of a client. Was you were the first one, and then another one of my client that is in the Image in the Mirror 3. Oh my God, made me cry.
Yeah.
So here is why I cried for Pastor Peter. And I know it was Patty saying, I love Joan and how she brings a smile to the energy, right? Yes. Thank you, Patty. And then Pat says
Yeah.
the same thing. Pastor Peter wrote a book called Commander in Chief, right? And I never knew what it was, what any of it meant until he started breaking it down. And when he broke it down and shared with me the position of a man and how God created the man to be in his family and the role he plays as a man built from God as the role of the head of the house I was beside myself. And let me tell you, ladies, if you're listening or if you're watching the replay, why I was beside myself, because I'd never heard a man speak to the role of a husband the way Pastor Peter did. Every other man is, oh, we're the head of the house, you're the helpmeet, you're this. And when Pastor Peter said, if you don't treat your wife right, you cannot be blessed. I was like, wait a minute, what? Oh my God, it made me. So Pastor Peter shared with us a little bit about Commander in Chief, just that little part that got me so emotional.
Yeah. And well, the commander in chief is all about whatever God does shall be forever. When God does something, he breathes on it, he makes sure that the thing grow, and he makes sure that everybody eat from the fruit. So commander in chief was laying in my heart because God wants men to assume their position. And he gave me an illustration in the Bible where men left their position and Satan came in. So when you look at the original story, you will know that the fall of a man only happened because man was not assuming his position. He left the woman alone. And when you look at it, the psychologists already said, when women don't have anybody to talk to, they will talk to stone. They will talk to the wood. So when the man left her alone, she has no choice than to talk to Satan. And that talking to Satan brought troubles to the whole world. So when man leave their position, when the position become empty, Satan, a lot of things, sickness, disease, discouragement, failure, backwardness came in and occupied that position, and it make life miserable. So that is the reason why a man needs to stand at all time. Make sure you assume your position as an husband, as a father, and as a son to someone else. When you bring that together, you will realize that the commander-in-chief is talking about, that is what I want. Go back to the original, to the foundation. Fulfill the way I have created you to be, and life will be a better place for everybody.
I love it. And one of the things that was profound that you said is, tell us what you shared with me when you said the man that treats his wife bad, what happens?
Yeah, the Bible is not what I said. You see, this is about
Right,
scripture.
right.
It's about
Yeah,
God now. The Bible
yeah.
says when woman is not happy with a man, their prayer will not be answered. So it's as simple as ABC. When your woman is not happy with you, your prayer is hindered. When your prayers is hindered, your blessing fly away. When your prayer is hindered, you don't have health. When your prayer is hindered, you lose your intellect. When your prayer is hindered, you cannot attain the throne of God. So when you are not in accordance with your wife, guess what happened to you? You become miserable. Your blessing taken away. Everything about you go away simply because God wants that union to bring forth good fruits. And when there is no union between you, let me tell you this thing that happened that I read in the scripture, Genesis chapter 3. You realize that when they all came to God and God was questioning them about what happened, listen to this now. Listen to this. When he got to the woman came up and said, see, I did not do what I was accused of. It was serpent that does it. Serpent also have accusation against the man. If the man was not staying in there. But guess what? God pushed man aside. He forgot about him. He dealt with the woman and Satan. And he told the Satan right there, he said, this woman's seed will bruise your head from now. What does that say? He's telling us the power that even Satan has been taken away and has been given to woman at that right time, even to her seed, before men come back. So God does not play with the issue of a woman. That's why the Bible called them a weaker vessel. Take care of them. If you look at what the Bible told us to do, it just told women be submissive. He told men love. When you now look under love, you will realize that submission is under love, caring is under love, making a daily provision is under love, loving them beyond, do a lot of things. Protection is under love, and so on and so forth. When you are not engaging in those, you make your life miserable.
Wow. Wow, wow. Now you can see why I got so emotional when I was talking to you. So, how was your experience working with our company, Victorious You Press?
Excellent. I don't wish more than that. As a
Yeah.
matter of fact, you guys make my job very easy in taking care of the writing and everything, publishing, giving us time and, keeping me informed of everything, every step
Yeah.
was a very wonderful one. I love it. And I will continue. All my books, don't let me say it, will come from you guys.
Yeah. Thank you. Thank you so much. So much. Since you have written the book,
Yes.
what has been the feedback from people that have bought it and read it?
Excellent. A professor called me just yesterday and he said, I just lay my hands on your book. I
Wow.
am going to forward it. They said it was so details and the information in that book is a mystery.
Yeah.
So that man told me, he said, I didn't ask him. He just said, I'm going to forward the book. And do
Yeah.
you know what he did yesterday? He invited me to an event going on in Johnson Smith University this weekend. That
Wow.
as bring a write up, they are going to publish it. I'm going to be the speaker over there and stuff like that. So this book has put me out there. The book has actually, let people recognize me beyond, a reasonable doubt. The book has bring out the glory of God that is upon my life. I
I
thank God.
love it. I love it. I love it. How is your wife and your family?
She's doing very great. She's working on her video album. Also, she's a musician, gospel
Yeah.
musician artist too. So
Yeah.
she's doing
Recording.
a video right now.
That is amazing. Praise God. I'm so proud of you guys.
Thank you very much.
So, what advice would you give to someone who is watching or maybe watching and is on the fence about writing a book because they're not sure what the process is? What would you tell them about working with Victorious U Press?
Wow. Well, like I said, I cannot request for more. When you see people who are dedicated, people who are committed, people who want your best to
Yeah.
come, and this is Victorious U Press. They want your best. Every minute they look deeply into it and they make every correction. They will not publish you until every errors are corrected. And
Yeah.
you want a publisher like that
Yeah.
make things easy for you, and also a publisher who want the world to recognize you. They keep on calling, giving me an opportunity to do this, join this. It's just wonderful. I will encourage everyone that want to publish, go to Victorious U Press. They have the best package for you.
Thank you. I remember we were going back and forth with your book cover. Remember that?
Yes, yes.
That was
It was fun.
that was something. So we have a conference coming up, Pastor Peter, November 3rd, the 4th, and the 5th. And it's really about the power of the pen.
Yes,
Because I love how you said the book has given you people are recognizing you from the
yes.
book, and as a result of the book, now you're going to Johnson C. Smith to speak. I mean, that is amazing. That is the purpose of the book, right? To be able to
Yes,
put you in front of audiences
yes,
that you would not have otherwise gone in front of,
yes,
or it gives you a level of credibility, right?
yes,
Because
yes,
now you wrote a book about the way a man should be with his family, and it's a
yes,
powerful, powerful book. And so, had you not have that book, you wouldn't have an opportunity to go speak. That is what the book does, right?
yes,
It
yes,
changes the dynamic. Although you are a learned man and very educated, and you're a pastor, the book did something different for you. So we have our event coming up in November. What would you say to people that are kind of sitting on the sideways wondering, should I go to the event? Should I take all of the information about writing a book? Because I believe that everybody has a book inside of them.
yes.
What would you say to that person that is watching and wondering if they should or should not go to our event coming up?
Yes. The first step I took was to go to an event. And that day, that event stirred up the gift in me. And that day was the day I recognized and I realized the potential that God has deposited in me. And immediately after I left that place, I decided that my book must come out in a year.
Yeah.
So this program coming up is going to facilitate the ideas, the gift, the talent that God has deposited in you Remember now, when you don't go, you don't achieve anything. You don't know what needed to be done. Remember the story of the talent. When you
Mm,
are given a talent, when you don't work on it, you cannot be productive. The best way to be productive is to work on your talent. I was writing a book, I call it Manage Your Given Potential. When you manage it, and the best way to manage is to mingle with people who have succeeded in it so that they can tell you the way to go, and then it can become easier for you. I was listening to a man of God. He said, why do I need to ask God what he already told somebody else? He said, I will go and grab it from that person and make use of it because God already told somebody the way to do it. So go learn it. Go to UPress program and
yeah.
learn the way to bring the best in you out.
Yes.
Then you
Yeah.
can be successful.
I love it. I love it. Oh my God, I love it. Um, what inspires you, Pastor Peter? What inspires you to continue to show up for God? What is it?
Well, we are all creation of God. And one
Yeah,
of the things is this: when you understand who God is, that is your inspiration.
yeah,
Because God is more than enough. When I look at his word inspired me a lot. When I
yeah.
read a verse, and God
Mhm.
is telling me that inside this verse, I can give you 10 different sermons from it. And when you are looking at that 10 sermons from that, that is a book right there. And
Yeah,
God is always telling you that there are so many things others don't have access to, but I've given you access to it because you have understanding of my word. So bring it out and put it out there. So when I look at what is going on in the world, I want world to be a better place. I
yeah,
want pastors, bishops, evangelists, and everyone to do right, to do the will of God. I want people to return back. So I want to do everything by speaking, by preaching, by writing, to touch everyone so that we can go back to the foundation. Simply because everything has been hidden in foundation. We have to dig it out. But many of us are shying away from foundation. We just want to build on top of the roof, and it keep collapsing. It keep collapsing because we have left the foundation. So my take is that let us return back to the foundation. There's an adage in Africa. I said, if you don't know where you are going, at least you should remember where you are coming from. So
yeah.
let's return back to where God has placed us. Then we can begin and do things right in order to please God again.
Yeah. You are so dynamic when you speak. You are so dynamic when you speak. Patty said, I edited the book Pastor Peter's story was in, which is The Team,
Yes.
Character and Integrity of Manhood. What a great story and powerful book. Tears filled my eyes, and I felt encouraged by these men who strive to become the man who God created them to
Thank
be.
you. Thank
That
you
is
very much.
amazing. That is amazing. And it's just so funny because the author before you, Patty, was the one that edited her book. And I know Patty edited
Oh,
the team book.
oh,
Um,
good.
but so you hear it here from Pastor Peter. You heard it before from Kelly that we want you to, if you're watching and you have not yet signed up for the Power of the Pen retreat that is coming up November 3rd, 4th, and 5th, do it today. Do it today,
Please
right?
do it today.
You
And
can
I will be right there with you too. You will
right.
see me live in there.
Yeah. We have the VIP session, which is the 3-day session. So for
Yeah.
199, you come Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and
Mhm.
for $99, you're Friday and Saturday. The reason why we wanted the VIP to be 3 days is because whoever buys a VIP ticket, they leave with a book. We're going to show you how to write a book in 3 days.
Yes.
Not even in 3 days, 3 evenings. So
Mm-hmm.
Thursday evening, we have a 2-hour writing session. Friday evening, a 2-hour writing session. Saturday evening, a 2-hour writing session. And you are walking away with a
Yes.
book,
Yes.
right? My first book, I wrote in 1 day. I'm going to show you how within a 3-day period, you
Mm.
can have a book, the outline, the layout. We're going to have the graphic designer
Yeah.
on point. We're going to have the editor on point. We're going to have a form. We're going to have everybody who can bring your book together so that when you leave at the end of those 3 days, you have a
Mm-hmm.
book in your hand, or at least the outline of the book and all
Yes.
the elements that you need, and
Yes.
all you have to do now is get it published.
Yes.
So We are, and here's the thing, Pastor Peter, right? Some people think that you have to have a story to write a book.
Nope. Your life is a story.
Your life
What
is a
is
story.
going on around you is a story.
An experience is a story,
Yes,
right?
yes.
Your gift is a story. Your talent is a story. Your abilities, your learned experience, an experience that you encounter is a story.
Yes, yes.
So, and people are out there waiting for these stories to change their lives, right?
Yep.
It's like,
Yep.
what do you have
A
in your
lot of people are blessed through this book now. If I didn't put this book out,
yes?
people will still be in the dark. But I know a lot of men that they have
Hold up
changed
your
their
book. Hold
life.
up your book.
Yeah,
Look
they
at
have
that.
changed.
Look at
They
that.
have changed their life simply because they read this book. And they
Yeah.
understand, oh, I didn't know. I thought I'm doing it right. But now that I see this book, I think I'm going to do it right. And many men, women has been coming out to say thank you because our husband are now living right with us. So in what's investing on, I want to encourage you. Do not let the charges scare you out. You are bringing out life. You are going to save life. You are going to change our world. So invest in your potential before you can reap the fruit thereof. If you don't invest, you can never get any profit. So your potential is in you. When you go to this program, is an investment towards your potential. And when your potential is discovered and being brought out, guess what? The moment the whole world see it, you begin to enjoy the fruit thereof. So it's an investment.
I could not have said it any better. That's exactly what I would say. We're all seeds, and when you plant it, right, that's the investment, right? You're
Yes,
putting it in, you're putting something in to the
yes,
ground so that it can bear, it can be
grow.
its grow
Very
roots,
good.
then
Yeah,
it bears a seedling, then it bears a tree, and then it has the fruits, right?
yeah, yes.
So Pastor Peter Adamson, I just want to thank you, sir, for just always encouraging me and for having this incredible personality that is so uplifting and so inspiring. And it was a joy publishing your book.
Thank
It
you.
was a joy having that experience. It was a joy to read it. I'm
Thank you.
so happy you hit the bestseller list. I'm so happy to see the
Thank
book in
you.
your hands. And
Thank you
I
very
can't
much.
wait to see you at the retreat. I look forward to
Yes,
seeing you there. And if
definitely. I
yeah,
will be doing.
and if you are watching today and you're on the fence, or if you're watching the replay and you just so happen to see the two authors that I had today, and you are on the fence thinking about whether or not you should sign up for the Power of the Pen retreat, please do so now. Here's the thing about it. We could have done it live. We could have had it in a hotel, but I wanted people to be able to experience it from the comfort of their own home, where you can find a room, shut off all the noise, close your doors. You don't have to drive. You don't have to buy gas. You don't have to fly. You don't have to have food or anything like that. And you just spend the time to retreat, right? Retreat is to relax and to
Yeah,
get refreshed and to get rejuvenated and then be able to just be one with God and then just produce. What do you have in your hands? That's the whole thing. What is
yeah,
it do you have in your hand? What do you hold? I remember Moses, right, using the rod to tend to the sheep for 40 years, right? And it's the very same rod that he had in his hand was the rod that he used to lead the children of Israel out, right?
yes.
And even in the point where they were trying to make it seems as if their rod could turn into snakes,
Mhm.
when Moses threw his rod down, it ate up the snakes that the Pharaoh's rods created, right?
Yes.
So he had his staff, his rod in his hand the whole time. That was his gift.
Yeah,
That very same rod was his gift. So I use that as an analogy to say, what is your gift? What is your talent? What is
yeah,
your skills? What are your abilities that you have that you can put pen to paper that is going to return on your investment?
yeah.
So,
Yeah, Proverbs chapter 18, verse 16. It say a powerful statement. It say a man's gift make room for him.
yep.
A man's gift. So God has deposited something in you to make you outstanding, which means God, when He fashioned you, He put something in you so that you can give it to the world. And that is where you will be known. That is where that is your gift. So you must make sure that you do everything possible to sustain that gift that God has given to you. And how? By signing up to know how to do it for this conference.
Yeah.
So I challenge you to sign up and receive a good teaching about how to come up with your story.
Absolutely. Listen, God bless you so much, Pastor Peter. Thank you for everything. Thank you for your energy. I appreciate you. Thank you for jumping on. And for those of you that are watching, the link is somewhere in the comment. Let me see if I can find it again. Just go to my website. It's victoriousupress.com. Let me see if I could put it on the screen. victoriousupress.com/retreat, or just go to Victorious U Press, click on the retreat button, purchase your ticket, and I will see you in the room.
I will see you
November the 1st. God bless you, sir. Have a great day. Listen, guys, thank you for joining our author spotlight this week. Stay tuned for author spotlight next week. We have 2 other authors that will be coming up. So make sure you stay tuned to Victorious U Press in the group or on YouTube. God bless you. Love you guys. Have a great day. Take care. God bless you.
Wonderful afternoon. Bye.
Thank you. Bye-bye.